Hi there, this is Alex Mitchell from Agents of Change Social Work Test Prep. And today in our Social Work Shorts, we are talking about the similarities and differences between the Bachelor's and Master's ASWB exams. We get questions often from folks who have taken the Bachelor's exam and are studying for the Master's exam about what differences they can expect for the ASWB exam that they're about to take. Do they need the same materials, different materials? Should they expect different types of questions? Are the exams a similar length? So today we're hoping to answer a lot of those questions that we get from our students about, again, those differences and similarities they can expect between these two exams. So let's jump right in and first talk about the basics of the ASWB exam. So as you may know, the ASWB offers 4 different levels of their exams. They offer, of course, the Bachelor's exam, the Master's exam, the Advanced Generalist exam, and the Clinical exam being the 4th and highest level exam. We always recommend checking with your state to confirm first which exam is required for the licensure level you're pursuing. Different states use different acronyms for their licensing, and it's worth reading through those instructions from your state twice or even reaching out over email or phone if you have any questions about which exam you need to take. All 4 of these exams are 170 questions long, but they have a different passing score range. The Bachelor's exam has a passing score typically between 96 and 105. The Master's, 98 to 107. Advanced Generalist, the same, 98 to 107. And the Clinical exam, 102 to 111. So those passing scores vary a bit between the exams, and you may notice it's also a range for each of the exams. The reason there's a range, and we get this question quite often at Agents of Change, is because each exam may be a little bit different in terms of difficulty. So for example, let's say you have a really difficult version of the Bachelor's exam. You may only need 96 questions to pass. But maybe someone you know got the easier version of the Bachelor's exam, and they need 105 questions to pass. Again, it's really designed to keep the exams equal, regardless of them being a little bit easier or harder. And so the ASWB always monitors the difficulty and adjusts that passing score accordingly. So again, 4 exams, but all are 170 questions long. So let's jump in and let's talk about these exams individually. So first, what's included in the Bachelor's exam? First, with 29% of exam questions is assessment as a category on the Bachelor's exam, assessment. And so this section will include questions around concepts of abuse and neglect, assessment methods and techniques, and biopsychosocial components. So again, assessment is the largest section on the Bachelor's exam with 29% of questions. The second largest section on the Bachelor's exam is intervention with clients and client systems. This portion of the exam will include questions about crisis situations, intervention processes and techniques that you may need to employ. And again, this represents just a little bit more than a quarter of the exam at 26%. The third section of the Bachelor's exam is around human development, behavior, environment, and diversity, representing 1/4 of the exam, 25%. So this area of the exam will include questions about all areas of human development, including physical, sexual, and spiritual development, and also includes social and economic justice issues in this section. Again, focused on that topic of diversity. About 25% of the exam is in this category for the Bachelor's ASWB. The final, 4th and final section of the Bachelor's exam is professional relationships, values, and ethics. We talk about ethics a lot at Agents of Change, and that is a big component of the Bachelor's exam. This entire section makes up 20% of the exam, but really all focused around legal, ethical, and confidentiality issues for social workers. So those are your 4 sections on the Bachelor's exam. Again, that's assessment is 29% of the exam. Interventions with clients and client systems is 26% of the exam. Human development, behavior in the environment, and diversity is 25% of the exam. And then professional relationships, values, and ethics is 20% of the exam. So let's jump over now to the Master's exam and talk about what's included in that ASWB exam. First, You have human development, behavior in the environment, and diversity, but it's the biggest category on the master's exam. So compared to this being the third largest on the bachelor's exam, it's the largest on the master's exam at 27%. So again, you have concepts of neglect and abuse, but you also have human growth and development, couples and family dynamics. You have addiction. You also, though, do have social and economic justice. So some similarities there, but some additional topics. And again, it's a larger section on the master's exam than it is on the bachelor's exam. The second biggest, also larger on the master's exam than it is on the bachelor's exam, is professional relationships, values, and ethics. So again, it's going to focus on how social workers react to relational matters, both legally and ethically. So again, the code of ethics being a very important part of both of these exams, but even more so on the master's exam, with that section being 25%, the second biggest part of the master's exam. The third topic, major topic covered in the master's exam, is interventions with clients and client systems at 24%. So on the master's exam, this section will include social work practices working in systems such as healthcare or criminal justice, just to name a few. And this part of the exam is about how social workers interact with different clients in different contexts. There may be many different contexts that are examined and many different client situations that you have to react to with the exam questions. So interventions with clients and client systems making up 24% of the master's exam. And then finally, the fourth section of the master's exam is assessment and intervention planning at 24%. And so this part of the test will include best practices regarding assessment methods and intervention techniques. It'll also include biopsychosocial aspects as well. So again, those four sections in the master's exam: human development, behavior in the environment, and diversity, making up 27%. Professional relationships, values, and ethics, making up 25%. Interventions with clients and client systems, making up 24%. And then finally, assessment and intervention planning, making up the remaining 24% of the master's exam. So let's recap some similarities and differences between the bachelor's and master's exams. So first, similarities. Similar general categories, as you heard as I described those four major sections on each. The exam also has the same format. It has, of course, 170 questions, as we mentioned before, that are multiple choice, and you have 4 hours to complete either exam. Out of those 170 questions, 20 will not be scored. You don't know which 20 those are, but that's just purely for data collection. So 170 questions, 20 are not scored on your exam. With both exams too, if you do not pass the exam, these same questions will not be repeated on any future tests you take. But let's talk about the differences. So of course, first difference is that the bachelor's exam is intended for those who have completed a bachelor's degree, while in order to take the master's ASWB exam, you need to have completed a master's degree. There's also a bit of variation in terms of the pass rate on these exams. So as of 2021, the pass rate for the bachelor's ASWB exam was just about 68%, where the pass rate for the master's exam was a bit higher at almost 75%. There's also a bit of difference in the purpose of these exams. So the purpose of the bachelor's exam is for basic generalist practice, really giving you those basics, making sure you're kind of ready to enter the social work field after getting your bachelor's degree. Where the master's exam is really applying advanced practice skills and specialized knowledge. As I described those areas, you might have heard of some of the more specialized techniques that are tested on the master's exam that are not included on the bachelor's exam. So hopefully this gave you a strong overview of some of those similarities, differences, and key topics on both the bachelor's and master's ASWB exams. If you'd like to learn more, check out agentsofchangeprep.com. We have a bunch of great content on the blog about all of these topics that we mentioned, as well as study materials available for you to get practice questions for either of these exams, take our course to help you prepare for either the bachelor's or the master's exams, as well as study groups that we host twice per month to help you prepare for these licensing exams. If you have any questions about this content or about Agents of Change, you can always email us at agentsofchangeprep@gmail.com. And we encourage you as you embark on your studying or as you continue closer to your exam. It's a challenge. There's lots of content here to cover, but you can do this. You can do hard things. You've got this. And best of luck on your ASWB exams. Thank you.